Yo, what's good everyone? Coach D here. Got another awesome YouTube video from y'all coming to you at Johnny O's Gymnasium. Today, we're talking about the delts, baby. Growing those boulder shoulders. I'm gonna give you my top 3 exercises that I like to do here at Johnny O's to help build your shoulders. Now, of course, you just gotta start with a little bit of anatomy like we always do. So if you look at this graphic up here, the deltoid is kind of this triangular shaped muscle, hence the name deltoid. That's kind of on this upper portion of your arm. It has 3 distinct regions that people primarily talk about. We have what's known as the anterior, lateral, and posterior region. And they all have similar functions, but of course, because of the way each one articulates and the direction of the fibers, they have some slight differences. So the anterior portion, that's the front part that you see, is responsible for a lot of flexion, so bringing your arm forward, and then of course as well, stabilizing the head of your arm or your humerus inside the socket, or known as your shoulder joint. Then you have what's known as the lateral part of your deltoid. This is usually what people think of when they think of aesthetics, where you can see the side of your shoulder. And this is primarily responsible, and this is the main function of the deltoid, which is abduction, or the ability to bring your arms away from your midline, away from your body in this motion here. And last but not least, we have what's called your posterior deltoid. So this is gonna be the back portion of your shoulder, kind of that portion that goes right before your back meets your arm. And this is gonna be mainly responsible for a little bit of extension. The anterior deltoid also helps with internal rotation. So the ability for me to take my palms facing forward and move them inward, while my posterior deltoid, that back portion again, helps with external rotation. So the ability to rotate backwards to open up my chest and have my palms facing forward again. And again, all parts of the shoulder work together. A lot of stabilization of the shoulder, again, keeping the head of your humerus inside of that socket along with the rotator cuff muscles. But again, we have flexion, abduction, and extension as those main functions. All right, so the first exercise we're gonna do, it's a staple. We're gonna do a dumbbell overhead press. Now, this exercise does work the anterior and lateral heads a bit, so it gets a little bit of both because we are doing a bit of flexion, so we're bringing our arms a little bit forward, and of course abduction, where our body's going away because our arm is coming away from our body here. So for this one, what I like to do is get a bench set up to where it's as vertical as possible. Having a little bit lean back is okay, and then we're just going to press up vertically, control all the way back down to where our arms get just below our chin, and we're gonna repeat that process over and over again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get these dumbbells just up on my shoulders here. I wanna make sure they're not resting. I got them just below. And now I'm just gonna punch the ceiling. I'm gonna bring my hands overhead, biceps by my ears, and then nice and controlled back down. Also, I don't wanna be a neutral grip here, or I don't wanna be too flared out. I wanna be somewhere in the middle, and I wanna make sure my shoulder blades are nice and relaxed. Don't wanna have them retracted. I wanna have scapular freedom as I'm going through. Next, we gotta work the posterior deltoids, right? That back portion. And so with that, we're gonna do a machine rear delt fly. And for this, kind of like what we did with the overhead press, how I had an external grip, because like I said, the anterior portion helps with internal rotation. I wanna put the muscle at a long length. So instead of having an underhand grip or an external rotation, I'm gonna put my hands overhand internal rotation to make that muscle fiber as long as possible. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure the machine's set up so ideally when you're sitting down and your arms are straight, they're about parallel to the ground, setting the arms as close together as possible. You don't need a lot of weight for this one. This one's kind of humbling like a lateral raise, and then you're gonna work on pulling your shoulders back and then nice control all the way in. Let me show you what that looks like. And last but not least, to really isolate that lateral portion of your delt, we're gonna do a single arm cable lateral raise. For this one, like we keep talking about with hypertrophy, for building your muscles, you wanna put your muscle in a long muscle length. So we know that there's gonna be a lot of flexion and abduction, so I'm gonna do my best to put my arm into adduction going across my body and a little bit of extension. That's why we're gonna do them behind the back, letting the arm come as far across the body as possible, keeping that arm nice and straight, and then raising to about eye level. So you wanna make sure that lightweight here, I'm only using about 20 pounds on the cable stack, cable's on the lowest setting. I'm grabbing, so I'm going behind my back, going into extension, holding on for a little bit of stability, and then we're repping it out. And that's it, y'all. Again, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Y'all know I got daily content on all the socials, so be sure to check them out at the_shift_method. Weekly YouTube videos, weekly Spotify. Your boy knows that I got everything coming for y'all. Otherwise, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.